horrible. Okay. Hey guys, it is MG Kaler, and I am an indie author, and I also write on a blog called My Southern Cottage. So today is like my first official writing advice video, I guess. I have no idea how to classify this. These are my favorite female archetypes. These are usually the ones that I go to when I want to write something. I have my notes written down over here, so if I'm glancing off to the side, it's because I'm trying to read. I'll try to keep this as concise as possible without rambling too much. And if you can see my horribly disgusting office in the background, I am so sorry. I ran out of storage space and I'm waiting to buy more. So everything's all over the place. I usually pick my female archetypes from my faith as well as other mythologies that I have grown up reading. I am Christian, therefore I use the Bible. I also grew up obsessed with Greek and Roman mythologies. They are like my favorite. So one of the, let's see, I have 9 archetypes here, and I will hopefully be able to label them as I'm doing this. I'm still trying to learn how to edit videos, as well as putting timestamps in the description. So if you want to bounce to the different archetypes, you can use the timestamps. What I really like about taking the archetypes from more classical eras is that they are not in your face. They are very subtle, and it takes a lot of skill to write them. It's why I prefer them. It's harder writing these archetypes than it would be the gender bender version of a male archetype. Taking a male archetype and just giving them boobs is lazy writing, in my opinion. These are a lot harder to write, but it will help you write more and more characters if you can do it. Do I do them perfect every time? No. It takes 5 rounds of editing to make sure that the character that I'm trying to write is likable and relatable. So what are the 9 archetypes? You have the faithful girl, the brave girl, the matriarch, the cunning girl, the divine mother, the naive lover, the beast tamer. Then you have the demon and the huntress. Now I know these make no sense and they probably have official names somewhere. I just don't know what they're called because every book that I've ever read for hero archetypes or archetypes in general usually stick to the male types. So if I can find the official names, I will also put those somewhere on the video if I can. We'll try. So the faithful girl would be Ruth from the Old Testament. She was faithful as she chose to become Jewish when she wasn't. She chose to remain faithful to her husband's faith and to her husband's family. So the archetype is someone who is grounded, who is loyal to family, loyal to their faith. They would be I guess the girl next door type. She will basically do anything to help her family. And that's what I like about this particular archetype with Ruth. is that you can tell what her motivations are from the very beginning. It is to protect her family and to stay true to her faith and to the life that she has grown to love. Esther, I really like Esther's story because it was my favorite in the Old Testament. Esther married a king. There was some plots happening that one person was trying to kill the king. One of the king's advisors didn't like Esther's adoptive parental figure. Yes, paternal figure, parental figure, both work. It was a long, convoluted story of a woman staying true to her faith, protecting her people, and standing up against her oppressors. This is true bravery, is to stand up for what you believe in and to stand in front of your oppressor and tell them to shove it. She was able to stop genocide from happening because she focused on prayer and fasting and thought about what could she do to make the king see things from her point of view. She hid the fact that she was Jewish for most of the story until finally the king was like, why do you care? Well, these are my people. And this person wants to kill my people as well as me. She was able to stop genocide because she was brave and stood in front of her oppressor and her husband to say, no, this will not happen. So the archetype is brave. She is strong and she knows when to draw a line in the sand and will stand behind it and dare you to cross it. That's one of the hardest female archetypes for me, at least, to write, because I automatically want to make them this warrior type. But you don't necessarily need to fight in order to draw that line in the sand and dare them to cross it. You can use diplomacy. So this is one of the harder ones that I find to write, but I really like it as they're usually the teacher or the queen or maybe the advisor type of character. And as well as the advisor type of character, you have the prophetess or Deborah in the Old Testament. She was a fair judge. She was a prophetess. She, as well as the next archetype that I will bring up because it relates to the same story in the Old Testament, she was the matriarch. She was deemed wise. She gave fair judgment. She was a prophet for her people. She said that this battle would happen and these soldiers would be victorious. So this is a very simple explanation, but this is the matriarch, the judge, the queen, the prophetess, this older female figure who is wise and gives you advice or tells you what you need to do even though you may not like it. This is a great mentor figure in books. This is, what's another one that would be a good example in modern thing? Minerva McGonagall would be very close to this, in my opinion. Jail. We're gonna go with Jail because that is the closest that I'm gonna be able to pronounce it. You might have heard her story because it's the same one as that Deborah. She had the enemy come into the tent. She was the maid or the handmaid. She gave him a glass of warm milk, made him go sleepy, and the enemy's general or king, she took a stake while he was sleeping, a tent stake, and killed him by driving the stake into his temple. This is the Cunning girl, the one that I am not strong enough to overpower you, so I will wait until you're sleeping to attack, or I will wait until you're sleeping to sneak off and do something. I will wait in the shadows for my time to act. This is the rogue character, the assassin character, the sneaky trickster character, the one that relies on her brain more than her brawn. What I really like about this character is you can have fun with it. She can be the prankster trickster type, or she could be the serious broody assassin type. Though she doesn't necessarily fit into the I don't need to use my my strength to defeat you, Black Widow would be a good explanation of this archetype of using cunning and all of these spy skills to her advantage. She can still kick your butt, but that's not her main focus. She has all of these other skills that let her be cunning and stealthy to achieve her means. Like I said, a lot of these you can add like a tough warrior mentality and let her use her fists and weapons, but sometimes it's just focusing on how she interacts in the internal world of herself and interpersonal relationships, rather than like outwardly like male characters do, where they're interacting with the world. They're more interacting with people and themselves. Now, one of the main archetypes that you'll see in the among females is the Divine Mother, or the Virgin Mary character. This is pure feminine energy. She is the mother. She is perfect feminine energy. She is pure. She is untainted. She is nurturer and healer, dreamer. She is the mystical lady of the lake. She is Gadriel? It's been a long time since I've done Lord of the Rings, but the very pretty elf lady in the woods. I think her name's Gadriel. Maybe that was another female elf. But the Divine Mother is the archetype that doesn't necessarily get involved with the story and the plot that much. She is more of the mystical female energy that the other female characters are trying to find in the darkest moments of their lives. It is the reflection of what they could be. It's a reflection of what they can be if they just let go of whatever's holding them back. It is that female energy that can take them further in their lives and that light in their world of darkness. So you can make this your, again, a prophetess type character, or a mentor character, or a mythological character in your stories. It is the perfect female in spiritual sense. This is where we start getting into less biblical archetypes and more into modern mythologies or classical fairy tales. One of the myths that I really loved growing up was Eros and Psyche. And Psyche is the naive lover. She is a girl who was taken away from bad times in her life, be it her family or living on the streets. Something bad happened, and though she knows that that was bad and that she came from a not so stable life, she doesn't really understand how the world works. Though she was surrounded by the harsh realities of the world, she still doesn't understand it. She is gullible, she is naive, easily manipulated. But she also loves the person she is with and she would go through trial after trial after trial to win them back and to show them how much she cares for them. In the story of Eros and Psyche, her sisters tell her that she is married to a monster and she must kill this evil monster that put a spell on her so she can be free and live with her family and live with her sisters. That her abusive father and the oppressive patriarch that she would be married to would forgive her and treat her well. So she is manipulated into taking an oil lamp and a knife into her bedroom where her husband Eros, or Cupid, is laying. She has never seen him and she doesn't know what he looks like. She raises the oil lamp and falls in love with love. She is the spirit, she is the mind, she is the soul that craves love and pure positive emotion. Thus she angers and upsets Eros, who goes off to have a temper tantrum and whiny fest with his mother Aphrodite. Psyche does trial after trial after trial, trying to appease her mother-in-law to win her husband back, to say, I am sorry for not trusting you. The whole moral of her story is to grow up and to see that believing is seeing, and seeing is not necessarily believing. You must have faith and you must have trust in your relationships. So that archetype is a really good archetype for if you're writing romances, or possibly having that as a secondary archetype for your female lead, where she learns to trust the people around her. She learns to trust her love interest. She learns that though the harsh realities of the world want to manipulate her, if she trusts in someone, she knows that she won't be. If that makes sense. None of this makes sense. I am trying really hard to describe this and it's not working. The Beast Tamer happens to be my favorite archetype. And you might know a well-known story with the Beast Tamer. Belle from Disney's Beauty and the Beast. She is the fair, the beautiful, the cunning girl who uses her kindness and her brain to tame the beast and to transform him from beast to prince. She is taking the untamed masculine energy that is destructive and scary and turning it into civilized power. Taking war and unbridled ambition and sexual violence into a protector, a lover, a man who becomes a leader. So she is the catalyst of childhood teenage boy to the provider, to the father, to the husband. So the whole thing about her being a beast tamer, her equivalent in male archetypes would be the beast slayer, who kills his unbridled masculine energies, his negative masculine energies, and learns to turn them into a positive. So instead of her doing that herself, she helps someone along the way, where she learns that she has the strength to do this. She has the bravery to do this. She is the princess that goes to the dragon and boops the dragon on the nose and says no. Instead of taking a sword to the dragon's heart and killing it, she reprimands the dragon. She tames the dragon so he is a force for good, not evil and destruction. Lilith is a figure in Jewish mythologies. She is a female demon. She is the untamed feminine energy. She is the demonic. And I don't mean this in a bad way. There are many stories. The one that I have always heard was she was Adam's first wife. She would not submit to him. She would not accept her role as wife and as mother because she found herself higher or at equal with Adam. And Adam, not liking it, made her go into self-exile, saying, well, if you won't treat me the way that I want to be treated, I will go off and become a demon, I guess. She, in the Jewish mythologies, is the child stealer, child killer, the reason for stillbirths, miscarriages, and SIDS. She takes life away from the women who accepted their submission and accepted their role as mother and wife. She is, I like to think of her as the dark energies within other characters of, this is what I will become if I don't control my emotions, don't control my own negative aspects of my personality. That is why she is the untamed female power of, she is femininity, the exact opposite of the Divine Mother, who uses it for good, she uses it for evil. For healing, it is manipulation and destruction. For sexual purity, unbridled sexual desire, and I don't want to use a slur here, but having relations in a not so nice way. I really don't want to bleep it out, but I'm just, you know what I'm trying to say. She is, you know, we're not going to say it because I'm trying to not get like demonetized and try to keep this relatively PG-13. The last archetype that I have is, again, from Greek and Roman myths, is Atalanta. I will put this down in the description and write the name somewhere. The wild huntress. Hi, Doug. Good boy. Sit. Sit. Good boy. The wild huntress archetype is the virgin who has yet to find her man, yet to find her place in the world. She is wild, she is fierce, she is a fighter. You okay, buddy? She doesn't want to get married, she doesn't want to settle down, she just wants to run free and hunt and fight and be a guy, like be one of the guys. She wants to go on grand adventures. And eventually she comes to a choice that she must make. Does she want to remain the sacred virgin priestess of the hunt, who follows that path of internal maidenhood, running wild, or does she want to fall in love and get married? Oh, I got the hiccups. Oh. If she goes down the path of being taking the oath of internal maidenhood, oath of virginity for her goddess, she has her freedom that she always desires, and she is free to be whoever she wants. Though on the other hand, if she chooses to fall in love and to get married, she has to find somebody that will match her personality and let her have the freedom that she desires. So that character archetype can go one of two ways. If she takes the I want to get married, she becomes the wise matriarch, or the cunning girl who learns to put down her blade, put down her bow and arrow, and do things in a more diplomatic sort of way, letting her husband take the role of fighter, whereas she's like, nah, that's not gonna work. I am your wise counsel. I am your wife. I know what you're doing, and I've done it before, so listen to me. So those are my favorite female archetypes to write. And if you want me to go into more depth into any one of those, or to do my favorite male archetypes, let me know. So I know this video is kind of long and kind of silly, but I am trying to get videos out on a weekly basis, and I hope this is one that you'll like. It's one of the other writing videos that I've been trying to get out there. So I'll see you next time.